welcome to Desolate Data.
Hey, we're back for another one of the awesome series we're doing with DigiKey and Maker.io. This is Maker to Market, number 9.
That's right.
Revolution number 9. So what are we going to cover in this issue?
This one is going to be interesting. But before we move forward, it's always good to look at where we came from. So this was the series: concept, research, evaluation, design, prototyping, funding, marketing, production. Production was last week. So production, Lady Ada, was when we talked about Circuit Playground.
I love machines.
Yeah, so we
talked about machines.
We went through how we got it onto the site, all the different things that we do, the developer edition, where that's at, why we take photos, the way we do. We had all sorts of fun and more. We showed some great factory tours. We got some compliments from people around the world saying, thank you so much for showing how things are made. We showed some of the folks.
Get that in.
Who make
Advance and Michelle.
Yeah, who make the products and more.
Deca boards, panelizing PCBs. Talked about that?
Yeah, all before they went into the
stenciler.
Yeah, the stenciler and more. And then lots of very advanced new forms of media. We had these cool 360 videos and more. And then we also had, of course, testers.
Which my favorite part.
Yeah, kind of the secret of electronics. You never see the testers. You never hear about how the electronics are tested. It's kind of the mystery.
But it's really important. If you're going to be shipping electronics, you want to get 100% satisfaction rate. I mean, there's nothing more sad than if a customer gets a product, doesn't work. Now you're doing support, management, returns. You lost that sale. You have to replace it. So getting the testing perfect, it's so important. It's so important.
So that brings us to the latest, distribution. Now, distribution is usually considered, well, you're going to give it to someone else to do something with. Adafruit's a little different. We do a lot of the distribution on our own, in other words, shipping. And when you think about distribution, Lady Ada, what are all the different things that you think about? Because we have this graphic from Maker.io. There's planes, there's trucks. What do you think when someone says, how does Adafruit do distribution? What do you think? Distribution,
it's a multi-pronged approach. But basically, it's how do we get the customer order in, and then how do we make sure we have that inventory? How do we pick that inventory, make sure that the customer's getting the right item, which is very important. Mix-ups are very frustrating, and you have to fix them. So making sure they have the right thing, especially if you have multiple versions of a product, pink, green, blue, whatever color, make sure you get the right version. Get it packaged well so it survives the shipment, because if you have a delicate or advanced product, that's something you have to worry about. Are you going to make sure it gets to that person, even though it maybe went on a boat or a bus or a train or a plane?
Where do you even warehouse this stuff? Do you do it yourself, or do you put it somewhere else?
This is all part of it. Somebody has to do it, but who does that? And then getting it shipped in the right method, the appropriate method for a good, fair price. Making sure the customer knows when they can expect to get it, and then just making sure that it gets into their hands, and how to deal with the things that can go wrong. Because even if you do a perfect job at that handoff to whoever is your distribution partner, whether it's FedEx or DHL or the post office or a private courier service.
We use UPS quite a bit. We'll talk about that.
Then dealing with things that, even if they have 99.9% success rate, there's always going to be that 0.1% that doesn't go right. How do you detect that, resolve it, and get a replacement to the customer?
We ship, we'll actually show one of our milestones. We shipped 5,000 packages in one day. So if you're 99% good, that's still a bunch of packages that could have some issues.
If you do the math, even if you do 99% success, if you're shipping 1,000 packages a day, that's 10 packages that something could go wrong with. And that's actually a lot.
Multiply that by the whole year.
That can add up
every month
very quickly. So if you can get it below 90 or above 99%, 99.5 or 99.9%, but as you can see, it just like yield. If you have a PCB and there's a yield for the PCB, and then there's a yield for the chip, and there's a yield for the firmware, you have to multiply that out. all of these places where things can go amiss, they multiply out. So you have to, even if it's 99%, if you have 5 in a row, that's quickly gets down to 95, 94, 90%. That's no good. So you have to keep those success rates very, very high. Daily vigilance.
Yeah.
Daily vigilance
So-
to make sure you're on top of it.
That all sounds kind of boring and like logistics or maybe stressful at times. However, we're going to make distribution kind of, for us, I mean, we're shipping geeks. We're going to make distribution fun for the next, how much time we have.
Woo!
To kick it off,
Yeah.
we have just a short 48-second like manufacturing in the UPS truck. So here we go. This is going to get you excited about the next hour or so.
Get ready.
Okay, so distribution has not always been that exciting, I have to say. We started out very small. In fact, that was a series of clips from not too long ago. And not too long ago before that, this was all of Adafruit's distribution. So this was 3 postal bins with everything.
This was a week's worth of shipments.
Yeah.
Back when I used to only have to go to the post office once a week.
Yeah.
And you can see there's some bigger boxes. I think this was when I was doing Zox boxes, so there's a couple Zox box
Yeah.
shipments. And then a bunch of smaller packets for like Minty Boosts and TV Begons. I think maybe I had the mini Povs or Spoke Povs at the time.
And here's a cart we used. We showed this in the production side.
We still have this cart.
We still have this cart. In fact, I have a photo of you with the cart very recently. So this cart's over 10 years old. And
10 years old. This cart's 15 years old. I
Yeah.
got this at the Star Market in Porter Square.
So what I wanted to do is just emphasize that you don't have to have all of the shipping stations like we have. We've only had those fairly recently compared to other companies, and certainly we're still a young company. And it took us a while to build out all this stuff. So I wanted to show that anything's possible. This is maker to market. This is a lot of things. So here you are with the cart. Here's MOSFET. This is cat for size. So we still use this. And the other thing that I have is a video from 2009. So this was only 6 years ago. And this is how all the distribution was done. And we used to do...
Wait, is this the video of you?
It's a video of you and I.
Oh yeah,
So-
doing the shipping.
Yeah, so here we go.
All right, say hello, Lamar.
Hello
All
there.
right, so we were doing a live video streaming of order shipping, and we're not going to record all of it. Yeah, QA. So this is us just shipping orders. It's exciting stuff on the internet. We put on the scale, we scan the barcode in, and then we package up your order, and we seal it up, and we get a label. Yeah, you can go with this. That's pretty much it. This is what we were doing. So now that I have a recording, when people see this when we're not recording, they'll see what we were doing. Okay. So I guess we'll announce other live streaming times, but that was it.
Okay, so that was in our apartment. And about a year later, I wrote an article on Make. I was kind of going part-time. I was helping you with Adafruit. I always had a couple jobs until Adafruit was able to have employees and more. And so this was my Maker business article. And what I did is I outlined all of the different things that we did as Adafruit to run the business, from taking credit cards to the servers we use, to PayPal, to the blogging software. So as you can tell, we've always had an open source point of view, forums, metrics, documentation, some of the equipment, how we use wikis, where we put our photos on Flickr, the camera we used, the way we automatically tweet, social network stuff, Facebook, where we put our videos, how we put our videos, how we do a live chat, customer service, Google Voice, which we still use to this day, how we ship packages, and that's where we got a little bit more advanced. And we had a green cart. And so
The green carts was when the shipments for the day wouldn't fit into the black cart. So we'd have 4 bins. We
Yeah.
had to stack them up on this green cart. But this was like 7 years ago. But
Yeah.
the concept is the same. I mean, we still have, a bunch of products. They're in bins. You pick them. You put them in a mailer or a box. You label them. This was before we had things as automated, but you
Yeah.
weigh it, you put the postage on, and you take it to the post office or you get a pickup.
yeah.
Now that's changed.
So all this stuff is still available right now. If you are doing small runs of products, you're probably going to be doing this. This is what it's be very. You'll see this and you'll be like, oh, like, okay, yeah, like I'm going to use Indicia, I'm going to use stamps.com, I'm going to use some way to use postal. I'll probably use WorldShip with UPS or whatever FedEx had. But we showed the video from 2009, and then we did a video in 2010 to show how we do, or how we did distribution. So let's watch that one. Hi, I'm Phil Cerrone, Senior Editor of Make Magazine, and one of the other jobs I have in life is helping out Adafruit Industries. And today I'm going to show a little bit about the shipping system. So I have an order. Make sure you look at the article above, and you'll see how this order got here, from Zencard to Linux to Apache to MySQL, all the things that we use to glue it together. But it came out, there's a barcode on it, and I'm going to take the order that's inside this U-line padded mailer, place it on the scale that we got off eBay, use the barcode scanner that we got off eBay, use this off-the-shelf shuttle computer, and scan it in. Order was scanned, the weight was recorded, the credit card was charged, the customer was notified, and then in the end, we get a label. Now this one is going to go to the Postal Service, so we get a Postal Service label, and then each day we have the Postal Service come and pick up the post office bins. Okay, so that article is up on Make if you ever want to see that.
Yeah.
The video service that we used, Blip, isn't around, so I had a copy of the video.
Great quality video, though.
Not bad. 2010, so
Yeah.
only 6 years ago. Still in an apartment.
Uh-huh.
Maybe 50 orders there or so.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we learned too is, and now we're going to fast forward to 2013.
Okay.
One of the things that we learned is eventually you just have to just scale with your distribution. So the core shipping station and the shipping software that you wrote was made so we could just keep adding other stations. And 2013 was one of the first years we got a bigger space. And one of the things that we learned is with distribution, it means that you're shipping something to customers and you have to let them know at all times what the shipping deadlines are. So if you're an online retailer like we are, you need to always communicate well in advance what the holiday schedule is. When is the last day you can order something before it's too late? So here's a quick video, it's only 30 seconds. Just wanted to show you an example. And it also is a nod to the future. Like we know that one day we'll be doing drone delivery, and we made a fun video. So here it is. Okay, so for this one, we also did a time lapse in 2013 of our holiday shipping. So I'm going to show that too. Okay, so now that we're advancing in the years here, this is 2014. Number of packages. This is
It's getting pretty big there.
yeah. So we've gone from just a few
Per week,
to a lot more.
per day.
Yeah, this is just one day, and we're gonna have a 360 video just in a few that shows what we do from an invoice all the way to shipment. But just to give you a scale of what shipping ends up being on a busy day, here's a panorama. You can see that it just goes on. It's a sea. It's a sea of packages.
Yeah, big boxes.
Yeah,
small
and
mailers.
then one of the things too is we shipped out the first Arduinos made in USA. Adafruit took on the manufacturing for Arduino, and I think because you and I both did a bunch of shipping, and we still to this day will go to UPS and drop off late night ones or
Oh,
whatever.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think that we just have a lot of respect for the process. It is an art, and I think distribution. It's usually one of those things that you hear like, oh, we'll just have it manufactured in China. Oh, just have a third-party logistics
Oh,
company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just.
And I think it's one of the things if you do a maker company, do spend time and ship, at least so you know what it's like. Yeah, sure, maybe you'll have someone else do it one day, but at least understand the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, one day you're going to have to ship batteries. Everything has batteries, and we'll get into that too. But if you don't, then you're not going to really understand all the things that go into logistics. Distribution is way more than finding a third-party logistics company. You have to know everything before you walk in the door.
And then we're not even covering the most complicated part of distribution, which is handling back orders. We decided
Yeah.
not to do that.
Yeah, we can talk about that too.
Okay.
That's one of the questions that I'm
Sorry.
going to get to. No, that's fine.
Always jumped ahead.
No, whatever. And then we have another time lapse, and just from a couple days ago. And as you notice, it looks like there's more space. It's because we've expanded as a company. We have multiple floors for our factory now.
Yeah, going from 6 years ago, we had one shipping station to
Yeah.
now we have at least 15 shipping stations.
Yeah.
But each shipping station is, the person who is at the station, of course, customizes it with their photos and decorations that
Yeah.
they like. But the software, the equipment is identical. It's
Yeah.
all off the shelf components so that it's very easy for us to quickly drop in another one. There isn't like a centralized
Yeah.
location. It's like anyone can ship at any time. They have their own login, their own stats, their own procedure, but they follow the same process. Each
Speaking
person.
of, so Angel, the director of shipping, has a full invoice to shipment tour of how we do our distribution. So here we go. Okay, Lady Ada, we're here in shipping with the director of shipping,
Hello,
Angel.
I'm Angel.
Yay! And we're about to ship a circuit playground. So let's start, as you would say, from the beginning. So there's an order that's going to go to DigiKey, Maker IO, to the president there, Dave Doherty. Let's start with what do you do with an order, Angel?
So the first thing we do is we log into Volcano and we go to the order status and then we print it. So we print the invoice with puzzle, the little quote on the bottom. And then we just wait for it to print out.
Okay. Let's
Yeah,
go to the hunter.
every invoice, we have a little extra white space at the bottom, so we put like cool quotes and inspirational sayings.
And here we go, here's the invoice. So if you look right here, we have a shelf location and we'll walk over to the shelf and go grab it.
Okay, Angel, how many orders do you think you ship a day sometimes?
Me personally or the department?
Let's do both.
Well, as a department, we ship 800 to 1,000 orders. Me personally, I don't do as much shipping, but I try and do at least 100.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Back in the day, I would do all the shipping, and Lady Ada would do all the kidding.
It's only 20 orders a day,
And,
though.
and that was a different amount. All right.
Okay, so every shelf has a number on it. So you just have to find the shelf. What shelf ID
So
is it?
we're on shelf 3, 7,
Okay.
and
3,
row
7.
4.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4.
And here we are.
Circling around.
And then there's the product ID, 3000.
Yeah.
So
And one thing that's worth noting is we did color invoices a while ago. This is good for customers and also good for gathering. And then you do like a little check, right? You're like, okay, this is the right one, and we have some barcodes on it.
Yeah, so what we do is we check the PID, and then we also have another barcode up here that helps us figure out what batch it came from if there are any discrepancies.
Okay. All right, so normally orders, average order usually is a few items, about $120. But this is just a special one that we're just shipping to show some of the distribution process.
It's like extra love and care.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have about 3,000 products. Each one has a shelf location. Each one has a barcode, and they're just all over the place. And what I really think is cool about the way the invoices are done is the products are sorted in order of distance.
Yeah.
So the most common products that we ship are going to be much closer to the shipping stations, and the ones that we ship a little more rarely are in the back.
Yeah.
And so people don't
Velocity
have to,
storage.
Yeah, you don't want to put the most popular item all the way in the back of the warehouse. You want to have it like right here, so it's
Yeah.
very fast.
Okay, so what's next, Angel?
So then the next step for a shipper is for us to open up Hub, which is how we ship all of our orders.
And this is your favorite color?
This is my favorite color.
Okay.
Yeah.
Each desk is personalized for the shipper.
Okay.
So then we would scan the invoice, and it would pop up on the screen.
So you know you're shipping the right thing.
Yes.
All right.
And then right here, if you look on the screen, it says quantity 0, but once you scan the product, the quantity will be green.
That
It's
means
like,
it's okay to
yes.
go.
And then the next step is for you to grab the mailer.
Yeah. Oh, and if you show the other side of the
mailer.
mailer. So these are the ones we had made. Eventually, it's cheaper to get these made than just to buy off-the-shelf ones. And the other thing, we have a barcode here that helps us keep track of inventory of our shipping supplies.
Yeah, especially because when you ship things, and this is something that makers have to think about, is not only do you have to worry about the weight of an object, but the size of the object, because
Yeah.
a lot of shipping companies, freight companies like UPS and FedEx, they do volume shipping, not just weight. And so if you have
Yeah.
a big box and it's light, it's going to cost a lot more than if it was small. You actually have to take that into account as well.
Okay. So what's next, Angel?
So the next step is for us to scan the mailer that we're using. And then we would weigh it.
And it's a little scale, and it talks to the server and says, okay, this is weighing about the right amount. If it weighed like 6 pounds, it'd say like, hey, like, hold on, Angel, why are you shipping a piece of lead?
And if you look really close on Hub, it actually tells you how you should ship the order in a custom black mailer.
All right. So we're not breaking any rules right now.
Not. Okay, and the order is ready to go.
Okay. Now, there's a couple things on your desk here. If it had a battery, we would do some battery stuff. You have a little chart of all of our guides. What else you got going on here?
And we have some packing slips right here. We have
Customs paperwork and stuff.
We have some mini boxes for those extra fragile items that need to be packed really carefully.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it.
All right. So now that it's here, where does it go?
Now what we do is we take it over to the bins and we drop it right in, and it'll be ready to go out at 5:30.
Gotcha. And what are the differences between these here?
So over here we have this bin is for boxes. This
Okay.
one is for mailers only, and then we have another one for boxes.
Okay.
And
then
this
what's
makes
over
it
here?
easier. This makes it easier for the people who are stacking for the day to kind of sort them out and try and get out our packages as quickly and efficiently as possible.
Okay. And then what happens at the end of the day when this all gets filled up?
When this all gets filled up, we transfer it over to our stack area,
Yeah, let's go
and
there.
then we take an empty bin.
Okay. And so that's UPS. So UPS will come and pick it up?
This is our UPS stack
Area
over
here.
here.
Okay.
And we usually have about 4 or 5 pallets a day that go out, so about 1,000 orders.
Okay. All right.
exciting.
So that's the journey of an invoice to a shipped package.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much, lady.
That was so fast.
Thank you.
Angel and Lady Ada, thank you. All right. And we're back. Okay, so that was a really good tour. That 360 video is now live on YouTube, so if you have a phone that can view it or a headset. So one of the other things that we do is a lot of education for distribution for customers. So what you're looking at right now, which is, sorry, that away, is our shipping page. And we go through step by step by step of all the expectations of when something's going to ship, how long it takes, and more. And one of the things that we do too is we keep really good track of the Postal Service, UPS. And so over the years, USPS, the Postal Service, and you can look online for statistics and more, the delivery rate has decreased and the percent of on time has decreased. So we don't have postal for all parts of the country where there's lots of slowdowns. So that's what we've done, and that's worked out really good for us. And you can always go to a DigiKey, for instance, if you want to buy an Adafruit product, if you absolutely have to have postal service. We do offer postal for military bases and more. And
Which is, of course, you can't ship UPS.
Yeah.
You can only ship postal.
yeah, so that's one of the challenges, and a lot of distribution is things that you didn't really expect. Like, wow, what if all of the packages that you send to Florida was one of the ones that was really tough, are late and don't make it when you use first class or more. So
And again, if you have 1,000 packages, even if you have an 85% on time rate,
yeah.
that's 150 packages that are late, and you have to deal with that.
Yeah, and if you can negotiate your rates and do volume shipping, you'll be able to get trackable insured shipping at a very good price for something like UPS Ground, which is faster than first class. And that's the sweet spot that we figured
And
out.
it comes with tracking.
Comes with
So you
tracking.
know where it is. You
Yeah.
know when it's going to be delivered.
Yeah, and we replace the packages if they get lost anyways. So on our site, I'm not going to play the full video. We have a USPS video for customers to view. But if you're thinking about being a maker company that's going to go to market, spend a huge amount of time making videos about the Postal Service, about UPS, about FedEx, about DHL.
About how to set expectations
Yeah.
and how customers can.
Yeah.
It's also part of the support, but
Yeah,
we're getting.
that'll be our next video next
Yeah.
week. But I'll just play just the first 30 seconds of our USPS video, and that teaches the customers what to expect when they do use postal as an option. We do have it for some areas, and then we'll jump back, and I want to show kind of the history of an order. So here we go.
Here at Adafruit, we are fans and friends of the United States Postal Service. Also known as the USPS, U.S. Mail, or Post Office, the United States Postal Service is an independent agency of the United States government. Benjamin Franklin was appointed the first Postmaster General in 1775, and the USPS took its current form in 1971. It's one of the most amazing things our society has created, and we love that it allows us to offer low-cost shipping options to our customers in some, but not all locations. And once the package leaves Adafruit, we together put our trust in the United States Postal Service to deliver your package. For some regions, we no longer offer USPS due to delays or lost packages. If you choose USPS as your shipping option, understand that the tracking status provided may take some time to show updates, and in some cases, never show updates. Here's what to expect if you choose USPS as a shipping method for your Adafruit order. First class USPS is our...
Okay, so we've spent a lot of time on educating the customers. Now, what you're seeing here is behind the scenes. So we sent a circuit playground to Dave Doherty, the president of DigiKey, and we sent it via UPS Ground. It got there really fast. It's already there. It was signed for. Yay. And what we have here is confirmation. It says who signed for it. It's UPS Ground. I think it went out on like a Tuesday and it got there on Friday. And the neat thing with our system is this is the behind the scenes order. This is, you click it, you can see the product page, so the shippers can see what they shipped. We can also make sure that we have all the right information. And then this is the PLM system, our product life cycle manager.
Yeah.
And this is all the different things that goes into the product. So you have the weight, you have the code.
Dimensional size.
Yeah, you have everything needed.
The export compliance code, the
Yeah.
tariff code, the
Yeah.
country of origin,
Yeah,
a
all the components.
description, all the components that go into it,
Yeah.
RoHS, certificates for every, every
Yeah.
single piece, everything that you need to know about a product,
Yeah.
and all the subproducts.
Yeah, so distribution is more than just shipping it, it's actually having all that information behind the scenes. And we make it very easy for everyone to have access to this at Adafruit. And so this allows us to show all of the The codes for export, they generally stay the same. But sometimes there's updates. The weights, if we change the packaging, we have to make sure we do it.
We also have
correctly.
to do, audits. Sometimes there's a
Yeah.
typo. We want to like quickly be able to go in and
Yeah.
fix it. An extra 0 typed in a dimension is going to
Yeah.
cause problems later. So, everything is done by hand when you first enter that data. And so you also want to have a way to quickly review it and update it if necessary.
Yeah, and for our customer support folks, and again, this will be the support video, we want to be able to quickly allow them to see the order, click one button, and then see, did the package get delivered if a customer is asking, well, I ordered something. So as you can see, this was received by Shane
Thanks, Shane.
at 8:19, that was a couple days ago, and 9:16 a.m., and it arrived. Now, the next part, shipping costs.
Okay.
Now, shipping costs are always interesting because Amazon kind of ruined it for everyone. Free shipping, free shipping, free shipping.
So did ePacket.
Yeah, and free shipping will burn you. And
Yeah.
ask any electronics company about free shipping, and they'll probably have some horror stories, or they'll know someone who had a horror story. And you just have to be really careful about your free shipping. You also have to figure out your rates. So I did an apples to apples comparison. So this is an Arduino Uno from Adafruit, and I'm shipping it to Colorado because there's a couple electronic company in Colorado.
Okay.
So for UPS ground, $6.72. 3-day, $8.67. Second day, $10.02. Next day are $19.73. So those are the options that we have. And what I also did is I looked up an electronic company in Colorado, and I wanted to just see how we do. And we do this pretty much every month to make sure that our rates are close or better. And so far it's been better for all the ways to get the same product
Yep.
across the country. So this one, and I'll say just straight up it's SparkFun because I have an account on there. These are all the options. So the only option that's lower cost is FedEx Economy, UPS Economy, and of course first class mail. Now the thing you have to look on this chart in particular is which ones are tracked and which ones are insured. So we don't offer first class mail because it's not trackable, not insured, $4.60.
Yeah.
So we don't beat that one. But if you look at our UPS ground, it's $6.72. There's $7.99. If you look at priority mail, again, not tracked, not insured, $8.62.
So it's even more expensive.
Even more expensive and not trackable, not insured. UPS Economy, which is when it goes via the postal system as part of its journey, $6.57, not insured. If it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
So if you look at this particular comparison, it looks like we have the best rates for a comparable service that's trackable, insured.
And of course, it's you have to be careful, right? Because the more volume you have with the shipper, the better rates you're going to be
Yeah.
able to negotiate. So if you offer, I mean, of course, if you're a huge company like DigiKey, you can get the best rates no matter what because you're shipping millions of packages.
Yeah.
But if you're a smaller company and you're negotiating rates, it might be wiser to stick with one company where you can get the most volume, because if you split your volume between FedEx and UPS, you're only going to have half the negotiating ability because you only have half as
Yeah.
many packages. So for us, actually narrowing allowed us to get better rates than if we split it in half. Does
Yeah.
it make sense? It's a little counterintuitive. You think like, oh, the more options you have, they'll compete for your business a little bit.
Yeah.
But they also only want to compete for your business on the package volume.
Yeah, so what we found is most people use UPS ground, and it's going to residential addresses. And
3D Select is only like $2 more.
yeah,
And that's like,
and this is
fast.
And this has worked out really well. Amazon has Prime, and you have to pay a membership. Other companies will do free shipping at any level. We do free shipping at $200 or more for UPS ground. So those are the things to think about in distribution, because you can go broke really quick if you're not careful.
you do have to be very careful. If you have a single product company, you may be able to have free shipping, but you have to bake in the cost. I mean, the shipping is never free. You do have to pay the delivery company whatever they charge.
Yeah.
So if you only have one or two products, you might be able to know, okay, well, I know that every order is for this one thing. It's always going to be $10. I'll just raise the price by $10, and then you work that into your margins. I will say something, though. I'm going to be a little, advice giving.
Oh.
So maybe some people don't like this advice, but
Yeah.
if this is advice that I've learned. It's a harsh truth. If you don't insure packages, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't make sense to ever offer something that doesn't have insurance if you don't insure it. Because if a customer is ordering something and it gets lost, even if they picked a method that is uninsured, they will still demand you ship
Oh
them
yeah,
the
they're going to
product.
do a chargeback.
It
They're still going to
doesn't
demand.
matter.
So that's the point we got to. It's like, why even offer a crappy version of shipping
There's
and then
no
say
point.
it's all your fault, customer. You picked one that didn't have any insurance, is not trackable. They don't care.
You can always self-insure, but you can
Yeah.
never, I would say never ever offer anything that has no insurance where you don't self-insure or have your
Yeah.
own policy that, in-house, which is what we do for first-class mail.
Everything has to
international.
have tracking. Everything has to have tracking.
And you have to be willing to replace it.
Yeah.
And this is another thing we don't offer. For the few places we do offer postal, it's only up to a certain value.
Yeah. No,
After-
we have to.
After $200, we force you to use a UPS or some other insured
That's
tracking
common
shipping.
that's common for a lot of electronics
That's-
companies too. They bump you to either a size or a weight or a value.
Yeah, once they learn. But if they,
Yeah.
the first time that it happens, you ship
Yeah.
something $400 through the postal system, and then you realize even if you use their insurance, it's incredibly
Yeah.
hard to get a claim through, and they'll just say you didn't package it right, or whatever.
Google around for all the stories about the Postal Service saying, no matter what, we're just not going to give you your money back. And that's it.
Be ready to self-insure.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. UPS is a little bit easier, but it's still challenging.
Yeah.
At a certain point, I would always recommend self-insure, bake that into the cost of shipping.
Yeah.
That's sorry, it's the harsh truth. I wish
Yeah. And
I wish you were different, but it's not.
and wait, there's more. So not too long ago, it wasn't just the matter of the weight. So sometimes customers are like, oh, it says that it's a different weight than it actually is. Well, now there's this thing called dimensional shipping.
Ooh, the new is as of this year.
And you're expecting me to explain what dimensional shipping is. Oh no, we've made a video for customers, so I
Oh.
wanted to play that now as well.
Okay.
And please take a look at it. If you're a maker and you're doing distribution,
Oh, you got to keep this
you
in
got to
mind.
learn about
This will
dimensional
bite
shipping.
you.
Yeah.
This will
Yeah,
bite you
this
because
is
you
the
have this
one.
wonderful big package.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's like my board is this big, but you have the old graphics card. Remember when you got an NVIDIA graphics card and the box?
No, you have
was
to
this
pad it. Yeah, you have to pad it. So it
But
matters how big it
but
is.
the boxes were gigantic, and the
Yeah.
video card was this big.
Yeah.
They don't do that no more. The
Yeah.
reason is dimensional shipping.
Yeah, so let's watch all about dimensional shipping.
Okay.
Serious business.
So I just ordered this totally awesome foam guitar off the internet, and the shipping was so expensive. It's foam. It's obviously lightweight. Why would it cost so much? Do you ever wonder how shipping companies determine how much a package should cost to ship? Today, I'm going to ask our in-house expert, Adafruit's head of shipping, Angel Rodriguez. Let's head on over to shipping. Hey, Angel.
Hey, how's it going?
Great! I actually have a question for you. I just ordered this totally awesome but lightweight foam guitar off the internet, and the shipping was super expensive. Do you have any idea why?
The company probably used dimensional weight to determine the billable weight.
Dimensional weight? What's dimensional weight?
Dimensional weight reflects package density, which is the amount of space a package occupies in relation to its actual weight. Dimensional weight can apply to all UPS domestic and international packages. To determine the dimensional weight, packages are measured in inches. Each dimension is measured at the longest point. Multiply the package length by the width by the height. The result is the cubic size in inches. For domestic shipments, divide the cubic size in inches by 166 to determine dimensional weight in pounds. For international shipments, divide the cubic size in inches by 139. That's how you get dimensional weight.
Wow! Wait, so shipping companies charge by size and not weight?
Not exactly. The package is also weight. The package's actual weight and dimensional weight are compared, and the greater of the two is what they use to calculate the rate.
Oh, okay. So even though the guitar is light, because the box is so big, that's how it was charged.
Yep.
That's great to know, especially when you're factoring in shipping costs.
Do you regret buying the foam guitar?
Of course not. It's a foam guitar. It's the coolest. I am sorry I didn't get you one, though.
That's okay. I actually have a cardboard guitar right here.
Sweet! Thanks for watching and subscribe for more customer support videos from Adafruit.
Okay, now there's more. So you're probably wondering, like, well, do we ship every single package to every customer around the world? No, we have distributors. We have over 1,500 distributors, and if you go to adafruit.com/distributors, you can see. So in this particular example, what if we wanted to get something from DigiKey? Well, you would go to adafruit.com/distributors, and you'd see if there's a distributor near you. Thief River Falls, Minnesota happens to be one, but also every product says where you can get it. We've tied our inventory system and shipping system to know where a reseller purchased something, and then you can see that. Now, when you click DigiKey, it takes you to DigiKey site, and you can see all of the products, including
Circuit Playground.
Circuit Playground. So if you want to buy one from there, if you go to Circuit Playground page, you'll see the DigiKey link. You can also see it on distributors. So we've been doing this for a while, 1,500 distributors worldwide, and that allows us to ship one big package to another country, and then they ship it. And one of the things, and we'll touch on this at the end, about margins, if you don't have margins, you of course can't do that. So margins are very important so you can have resellers. If you can't have resellers, then you can't have a worldwide distribution network.
You know, we have a lot of customers that buy our Raspberry Pi products, and the Raspberry Pi is very, very popular in Europe and England. And if we didn't have our distributors, you know, we wouldn't be able to ship packages. I mean, people just wouldn't want to pay or wait. They want to get it from their local distributor. If you have a big enough market, a distributor is key.
Yeah. So a couple milestones that we hit after all of this shipping, this approach towards educating customers about the different shipping options, doing good negotiations with carriers, figuring out when to warehouse, when to have outside distributors in local countries. So we hit 5,000 orders in one day. This is a big deal. And
This was like a holiday day.
yeah, this was a big deal. And one of the neat things that happened not too long after that was we hit our 1 millionth order.
Wow.
And that was on January 27, 2016. Our CFO, Stella, actually guessed it down to the day, even down to the hour. We had asked about a year before that, when do you think we're going to hit 1 million orders? So she pulled the sword from the stone, so congrats, Stella. On October 16th, 2015, we hit 900,000 orders. On June 2nd, 2015, we hit 800,000. February 6th, 700,000. October 6th, 2014, 600,000. May 14th, 2014, 500,000. And before that, December of 2013, we hit 400,000. And then if you go through, you can see all the way down. We've been keeping track of this. In August of 2011, we hit 100,000 orders. So those are the milestones.
I remember that. That was a big deal.
That was a big deal. Now, I'll say this.
The 100,000, the million, I was like, no, we don't.
I'll say this. When you ship long enough, you better make sure that you're shipping right, you're classifying things, and you're doing a really good job. So on adafruit.com/compliance, you'll see what we do. And no one's perfect at this. This isn't something that everyone's always going to be perfect at. The goal is to always try your best. There's countries that have a different political landscape than last year, and maybe you can't ship to them. Cuba is probably going to change in our lifetimes, at least.
Ukraine changed. Crimea was fine, and now it's not.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of complications with electronics, with Linux. There's all sorts of things.
I know, Linux does get involved.
Right?
Ah, Linux.
Right? It's encryption.
GNU Linux,
It's encryption. So we've actually presented about how we do stuff.
Yeah. And this is something you have to know how to do.
Yeah. So Adafruit does the big six: product information, export controls, orders and payment, order information, shipping and record keeping. We happen to really like the United States Export Control Book. Roz is the author. We've worked with him before. We wanted to make sure we were right about a lot of things. For export controls, we follow the EAR, which is the Export Administration Regulations, and the Bureau of Industry Security and Guidelines.
You can download these all online, by the way.
Yeah.
And I will say that, you know, we have a lot of products, and a lot of them are very basic. You know, wires and switches are not going to be export controlled. Once you get to stuff with, you know, GPSs or encryption and wireless, you might have some export control on it, but you're lucky. It's actually really, really, really easy to get your product certified, not certified,
Yeah.
that get the right value. The BIS has an online service where if you send them the documentation of what your product is, they'll reply to you in about a week or two, and they'll give you the certification. They'll give you what you can do as export control with the
Yeah.
product. So you don't, if you're like, oh my God, this is terrifying. This book is this big because this book is this big.
It's this big. It's on my desk.
Huge.
And it's bookmarked in lots of places.
You don't need to. I mean, it's fun to look through because it's kind of neat. It's like, oh, if your gyro can do like this speed at that rate, and like your GPS does this resolution with this frequency, it's different compliance. You don't actually have to worry that much about it. Again, if you only have a couple products, just contact the BIS. They have you log in. It's free. You send them the information, and they will reply to you, and they'll say where you can export it to, and they're like very friendly and very nice.
Yeah.
And you can always check in once in a while if you're like, hey, has this changed? Because of course, like the sensors get better, the export control gets weaker on them.
They're there to help, and most companies don't go this far. So that's what we do because we want to be a company that ships 1 billion packages. We've shipped 1 million. We want to ship 1 billion. So long enough timeline. I think on planet Earth, everything turns into a battery. So one of the things we had to get good at is batteries. And so batteries, these are the stickers that we use.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And this is one of the things where you need to work with your carrier and get certifications to ship certain things. So UPS for the types of batteries that we do. The shopping cart won't allow too many batteries, especially if it's an air delivery. So next day air, you can't do the same thing as ground.
Number of batteries,
Yeah.
watt hours, if it's in the equipment, if it's shipped separately, it
gets complicated really fast.
It gets complicated.
And
It
one
gets
of the
quite
things,
complicated.
yeah, one of the things is that would be a 50-hour series, and you need to get certifications for that. If you're going to ship batteries, either find a third-party logistics company, make sure that they have the right certifications
And it
to
changed
do it.
in April.
Changed in
it
April.
changes all the time, so
Yeah.
they make sure that they're on top of it.
And one of the things that you may have noticed, here, lady, you can hold it up, maybe hold up the 2 bits of packaging. So Adafruit has recently gone through a bit of a change. We were able to ship so many things that it's cheaper to get packaging made for us than to use the off-the-shelf stuff. So we have an article called Uline Alternatives. It's the #1 link on Google, which is kind of nice. And if you ever want to look for Uline Alternatives, these are all the different companies: Cornell, Global, Element 14, Staples Industrial, Bag Barn.
These are the ones that we use.
Yeah, we use these.
There's
and
more too, of course.
Yeah, you can also contact them and get custom packaging
And quotes.
and quotes and more.
Volume.
And once you get to a certain volume, and then you can do that. What we've seen is a lot of makers will spend way too much time on packaging that's going to get tossed. So maybe ship your products for a little while and then see how the business is going before you invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in a minimum order quantity for packaging.
Especially since
Yeah.
your packaging may have to change.
Yeah.
I'll skip ahead. We recently were talking to Radio Shack about having them do distribution, and
Yeah.
they have.
Oh, we'll get to that.
They have a list of their requirements, and your packaging has to fit the requirements, or they're not going to
Yeah.
carry it. So as you are dealing with larger distributors, they might have requirements for like we do.
Yeah.
We say like, hey, your package has to have a barcode on it. It doesn't have to be a UPC, but it has to be a unique barcode so that our inventory system can track it. And there's a couple people grandfathered in, but all new companies that we carry and distribute,
Yeah.
we kind of require it.
Yeah. So that's more things to consider. Next up, I did want to touch on something we mentioned before, because part of the retail strategy might be to have a retailer. So your article from 2008 on EDN, 15 Steps to Starting Your Own Electric Kit Business, is still relevant to this day, Lady Ada.
Yay.
So you have this thing about margins. You say, make sure you figure out the full price. Now allow for a 40% margin or a 66% markup. Now add that markup again. Now, this seems to work really well. Why does it work well for distribution specifically?
I mean, the number itself, or just having two margins?
Having two margins, because maybe talk about why we're able to have 1,500 distributors.
So here's the dealie, and this bites a lot of new makers, and and they come to us. They're like, "Oh, I did a Kickstarter, and I want to sell to you. I have my widget," and we're like, "Your widget's pretty cool," and they're like, "Yeah, my widget costs $99 retail, $100 retail," and we're like, Yay, okay, well, we want to stock it because we think it's neat, and we want to buy, 50 or 100. What's our pricing? And they'll come back and they'll say, well, for the $100 widget, I'll sell it to you for $90. So that's, a 10% margin. And that doesn't really work, because if you're selling me something for $90, first off, I have to ship it to me. There's going to be some loss. There's going to be some returns. You can't really do business on a product that has 10% margins. Maybe if it's a really, really expensive item, but most maker products
like
are
TV
$100 or
something.
yeah, very, very, a car has 10% margin. But for something that's low cost, I have to pay the people, I have to pay the rent, I have to pay insurances, I have to pay their 401k. You can't really live on 10% margin. And so when you go to your distributors, what we've seen is 30% is pretty minimum. 40% is good, 50% is great. And that, it of course depends on how heavy it is, because they have to ship it around. So if I have to if I have to pay to have it shipped to me, and the shipping per item is $10, it's already I've lost money on each sale. What if I have a 10% coupon code? Would that erase your margin? So all these things together, kind of, you do the math, it ends up being about 40% margin is a really good place to be. And if you have two of them, then you can give your distributor a 40% margin, which is what they expect, and you get a 40% margin as well. And then, of course, you can always sell direct if you'd like. But part of the trade-off of having somebody do all this distribution, do the export compliance, do the fraud, do the packaging, the dimensional shipping, the insurance, the returns, the chargebacks, you give them 40%.
Yeah. So that brings up another thing. So Adafruit has historically stayed away from retail, and I mean that by like big box stores, and I mean that as stores that people go into and more, mostly because it didn't seem to make sense. It was basically consignment more. Micro Center is the first time we've done retail, and what we liked about Micro Center is they had really good values. We were able to present, like, here's how we can work together well, and they were willing to do it. So big ups to Micro Center. Micro Center is one of the few places where you can physically go and
they love our stuff.
and get stuff from Adafruit. This is the one in Gowanus, and when you go to the store, they have things that matter, like our beliefs. So we believe that computers and electronics have the capability to improve the world at work and at home. We believe by helping customers integrate new technology into life, we are making the world a better place. We believe that the time a customer spends with us has more value than the money they spend, and we will work with them to serve them efficiently and make that time as rewarding as possible.
Wow, this is intense.
Yeah, and these are the things that matter. And I'll just get us off the screen for a second. Our mission: we are determined to be the best computer store in the world. We're passionate about serving you in the best way. We'll measure success by how often you visit. So those are nice words, but there's other things they do. So they have a wall of computing pioneers in their store, and you can see all the people that have something to do with computer science over time. So one of the questions that we got was, how do you choose a retail partner? Well, this is how we chose Micro Center, and this is how they chose us.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah, we also did a meetup with Atmel and Micro Center, and this was last year. You met some great folks.
Oh, yes. The girl
And-
was awesome.
Yeah, and when you're thinking about a retail partnership, maybe find a retailer that has a cause in addition to a business, because it matters, especially if you're a maker to market company. That's one of the things. So speaking of, Radio Shack recently went out of business and went bankrupt, and it was purchased, and now Radio Shack is back. So
The Shack is back.
the Shack is back, and so we're talking to Radio Shack now. This was last year. They had Arduinos in store, and we're trying to work with them to figure out if Adafruit stuff can be in there. There's a new leadership team. It's everybody and everything's different. We'll see how it goes, but those are the types of things that come up. Radio Shack 5 years ago approached us, and it was a very predatory contract that we couldn't do. And the new Radio Shack is very maker-friendly, so we'll see what happens. The bar is high. For us, Micro Center is working out really well. We would love to see things in Radio Shack as well. And the other thing that's come up is we live in a post-Amazon world. So you know what we had to do? We had to figure out same-day shipping. So your distribution strategy might have other things that you don't even think about. So for Adafruit, if you're in New York, go to adafruit.com/sameday, and you can see what we have. So there's different parts in New York, and if you put your zip code in and hit search, you'll be able to see if you can get it same day. Now, the next obvious question is, well, how did you figure out which same-day service to use? I bought something from every electronic light company that had same-day service, and I just looked in the bag who got it there fast, and they accidentally left a receipt in pretty much a couple of them. So, and then I figured out the other one. So this is the one that Apple uses, and I was able to contact them. They're like, oh, this is great. And so they do same-day delivery in New York City.
We do a couple of orders a day. I mean, there's people
Oh, yeah.
who they know in the morning that they want, they order by 11, they get
Yeah.
it by the evening.
It's mostly advertising agencies, marketing firms, schools.
Some engineering firms.
Yeah, film places that
Yeah.
are doing movies. Our stuff is using costumes and more. And so that's one of the things with distribution we didn't expect, but now it's so normal and ordinary
Yeah.
that there's same-day delivery in New York City from Adafruit. The other thing is we're working on drone delivery. There's some regulatory things that have to change, but we have the top floor of our space, and so we'll be able to probably do that in the next few years. So distribution is going to change. Don't assume that distribution is going to be the way that you think it is. The other thing, and pop over here, is we're starting to see resellers do interesting things. So working with Amazon is kind of complicated. But our resellers really like it. They may have relationships with Amazon already, so they'll buy stuff from us, and then they'll provide it to Amazon. And they're okay with taking less margin. Maybe they're
Because Amazon's going to take like 10, 20%.
yeah. We don't want to do that work to send it to Amazon, but a reseller might, and they're okay with a 10% margin because they're just taking the goods.
They
buying
don't do
it from
any,
us,
yeah.
and and so distribution is an interesting time right now. The question that we get from time to time is, and what to say in the history of Adafruit, I think it was a little mean. Well, you guys are dumb for shipping your own stuff. You should just have a third-party logistics company do it. And all of my friends and maybe frenemies end up saying the same thing, like, boy, that didn't work. So
Yeah, it is a
can
challenge.
work. It can
It's a
work.
challenge.
Yeah, it can work, but we have 3,000 products, and there might be some custom things we want to do, and the customer really wants it, and it has to go out, and the customer service chain is very short. You contact us, you know exactly what's happening. With a third-party logistics company, it's very complicated. And if you can ship yourself, at least from the start, at least try. If you have one product,
Yeah.
maybe third-party distribution is better. So my criteria right now, if you have one product, third-party distribution is probably okay. If you have multiple products, you probably got to do it yourself.
Another thing is you can do quality control a lot better if it's
Yeah.
in-house. It's rare, but once in a while, if we get shipped the wrong thing from one of our
Yeah.
vendors, or something gets the wrong barcode by accident, we can very, very quickly, like with it, the customer emails and says, hey, I got the
Yeah.
wrong thing. We can quickly take it out of stock, check what we have, and put it back in stock. This is something we can only do because we do our own fulfillment.
Yeah. So that's distribution, Lady Ada. That's it.
Yeah.
You did it. The next one is going to be support. I did follow you around with a camera, and tonight we're going to play it out with a walkthrough of the Adafruit warehouse as you walk through shipping and parts of inventory. This is just one floor of Adafruit. So thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. Final in the series, support. We touched on a few things.
Yeah, but we're just priming them,
Yeah. So,
getting them ready.
All right, here we go.
Okay, walk me through it.
Woo! Bye-bye, everybody.